So, thank you so much for coming, Alex. It's wonderful to have someone from Omidyar here and to contribute because I'm a Tibetan Buddhist myself, and I like to not just make money through business, but I like to see a difference being made in the world and have right livelihoods. So I know that that Omidyar have actually sponsored even one of my teachers, the Dalai Lama, to come out here a few years ago. So I'm very impressed and very honoured that you came. I was wondering if you could tell me what led you into working in this firm, and what was your passion around the fintech area?
Yeah, thanks a lot. I've always been passionate about the intersection of emerging market and global development with innovation and financial services and mobile. And when I was an undergrad, I actually thought I was going to do a PhD in developmental economics, and was really passionate about how you actually think about some of these issues at the frontier. I ended up deviating from that path completely, first by doing investment banking, and later on working in consulting with McKinsey, and then eventually spending a little time with the financial regulator, but always kind of thinking about issues at this intersection. And I realized what I was really passionate about was, how do we actually use innovation? How do we use some of these new technologies, new tools to actually reinvent the way we provide consumer financial products and services? And so that's how I ended up at Omidyar Network. Is the firm actually uses this unique ability of using for-profit and non-profit tools to actually try to solve some of these systemic issues, including financial services. That's how I got interested and eventually ended up at Omidyar Network.
And what's your passion around fintech in particular? I know you've been involved in some fintech companies.
Yeah, so my interest is at the intersection of financial inclusion and fintech. Okay. So it's the ability of using technology to dramatically improve the opportunities to provide access and usage of financial products and services. And so the type of investments that I'm working on are things that are access plays, so dramatically decrease the cost of reaching the underbanked or the unbanked. Information or data plays that decrease the cost of understanding customers and be able to offer them products and services. And then a lot of consumer-facing fintech innovations that actually reinvent financial products and services, hopefully using some of this infrastructure that exists, hopefully using some of this better data to actually reinvent and provide better and greater access.
What do you see the possibilities for the future for fintech?
I'm extremely optimistic about the future of fintech for a couple reasons. I think we've seen in emerging markets the promise of a couple massively scaled businesses and organizations. I think M-Pesa has probably gotten some of the most publicity of providing a mobile banking ecosystem in Kenya. The story that's told less about is that on top of that, a whole range of businesses and services have started to exist across credit, across savings, across engagement. We invest in a company that provides off-grid energy in home solar systems. Think Solar City for Africa. The only reason that business exists is because you have payment rails. And so one of the things that gets me most excited is that once you actually create the beginnings of this ecosystem in emerging markets in the US, you actually are enabling a whole other sets of financial products and services on top of that. And that actually creates a virtuous cycle. That's one of the things that gets me most excited about how the sector will evolve.
And so tell me, what's one of the most remarkable things that's happened to you in your career?
Yeah. Well, I might talk about something that isn't from my time at Omidyar Network, but actually from one of my previous careers. Yes. I ended up spending a lot of time in Tunisia and was there just before and during the revolution. And one of the things that I found incredibly powerful was actually the role of technology in helping people share their frustration, organize, communicate together, and eventually actually have a very successful outcome in a very short amount of time. And I found it incredibly inspirational at that time.
And what year was that?
That was basically end of 2010 and then beginning of 2011.
So it was a bit like the Arab Spring then?
No, it was the first of the Arab Spring, exactly, yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So you were actually in the middle of that, and that would have been amazing, I would imagine, to actually see how social media can actually make a difference.
It was
instead of just being like, trashing people and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was pretty inspirational.
Great. Look, thanks so much for coming tonight. I just feel it's going to be a fantastic panel, and I'm really excited about it and excited about the future of credit and fintech.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here and looking forward to the discussion.